Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling data strategy in the age of AI. We've got a whole lot of research reports, frameworks, even some case studies.
Yeah, it's like we're going to go through the history of data strategy, from like mainframes all the way to like modern AI.
All right, so let's kind of map this journey. We've got these distinct waves of data strategy evolution. Mainframes, client-server, the internet, big data,
Yeah.
and now AI. So each wave kind of brought its own challenges and opportunities.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that even with all that change, some of the fundamental principles from those early days still hold true, like data organization, efficiency, and security. It's all still relevant today.
So it's not like we're throwing out the old playbook.
Right.
But AI is definitely adding some new plays. One report said that companies that are using AI for data strategy are seeing 20% faster growth than their competitors.
That's a big difference.
That's a lot. So that's a pretty compelling reason to pay attention.
Absolutely. And, AI isn't just about analyzing data, it's also about automating tasks, personalization, driving innovation at an incredible pace.
So with AI in the mix, where do we even begin, to build a winning data strategy?
Well, the first thing is to just recognize that data is a strategic asset. It's not just something you collect and store, it's valuable. One book we've got actually breaks it down, the data value, into direct value, like revenue generation,
Yeah.
indirect value, like cost optimization, and even like strategic value, like informing your big decisions.
It's interesting because it makes you think differently about the data you already have. It's not just numbers, it's potential. It's waiting to be unlocked. How do we manage all this data?
That's where robust data asset management comes in. And that's thinking about it as the whole life cycle of the data, creating the data with quality standards, enhancing it, utilizing it, archiving it. There are frameworks for all of that.
It sounds like a lot more than just setting up a database.
It is a lot more. For instance, like enhancing data involves quality improvement and enrichment processes. And when it comes to like utilizing the data, it's not just about using it. You have to track how it's being used, measuring its performance, and seeing if you're getting the value out of it that you thought you would.
So it's this continuous process of evaluation
Yeah.
and improvement, not just a one-time setup.
Right. And to do all this, you need the right capabilities: technical, organizational, and strategic.
Okay, so let's break that down. What are we talking about when we say technical capabilities?
Well, you need, a modern infrastructure, a really strong integration architecture that can handle data from lots of different places, great security, and of course, advanced analytics. Those are kind of your building blocks for handling all this data and analyzing it.
And the organizational side. It seems like that can be tricky.
Well, it's about optimizing processes, setting up a strong data governance structure, developing the right skills in your team, and really creating this culture that embraces data-driven decisions.
So it's not just about having the cool tech. It's also about having the right people and the right attitude.
Right. Yeah. And then strategically, it's about alignment, making sure your data strategy is in line with your overall goals, having a clear vision for how this data is going to create value, a risk management plan, and being committed to quality throughout the entire process.
All right, so it's like having a roadmap
Yeah.
for your data, making sure it leads you to the right place. But what about risks? There must be a lot of risk when you're dealing with data in the age of AI.
Yeah. McKinsey actually highlighted three main types of risk: technical, operational, and strategic. The technical risks, those might be like data quality issues or system failures. Operational risks, those could be process disruptions or resource constraints. And then strategically, you have to think about compliance and resistance to change in your organization.
Yeah, resistance to change. That's something you hear a lot. It's understandable, to be wary of new technology, especially if it could disrupt things.
It's definitely valid, but this is where AI can actually be part of the solution because it can automate tasks. And that reduces human error. It frees up resources. It can also give you those intelligent analytics that can spot problems like fraud, security breaches, and it can even recommend actions to take, whether it's to improve efficiency or personalize customer experiences.
So AI is not just the risk. It's also part of the solution.
That's right. It's a powerful tool.
So data governance, sometimes it just feels like it's another box to check, for compliance. But it sounds like it's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, it's essential for ensuring data quality, privacy, ethical use, and compliance. It's about building trust and accountability.
So what does good data governance look like?
Well, it means having clear policies, defined roles and responsibilities, and oversight mechanisms, guidelines for how the data is collected, stored, used, shared, and ways to make sure those guidelines are being followed.
It's like creating a culture of responsibility
Yeah.
around the data, making sure everyone understands its value and how to handle it properly.
Yeah, embedding data governance in the DNA of your organization.
Okay. And then we look ahead, and it seems like things are constantly changing with new technologies.
Absolutely. Things like edge computing, quantum computing, advanced AI, they're already making waves.
It's like the future is arriving faster than we can even keep up with it.
It does feel that way sometimes, but they have the potential to really revolutionize how we collect, process, and use data. And it's not just in one sector. It's healthcare, finance, manufacturing. It's everywhere.
So it's not just hype. They're having a real impact. But it's a lot of power. So we have to be careful, right? What about the ethics, the ethical considerations of all this?
You're right. The ethical implications are huge. You have to think about bias in the algorithms, transparency in decision-making, and even the impact of all this on society as a whole.
You can't ignore those conversations.
We can't, especially as AI gets more and more powerful, more integrated into our lives.
Yeah, and that's where strong AI governance comes in.
Yeah, we need frameworks that ensure AI is developed ethically and deployed ethically.
So it's this balancing act. We want to use the power of AI, but we want to make sure it's used ethically, responsibly.
You've got it. It's a balancing act, but it's one we have to get right. The future depends on it.
This has been a great overview of the data landscape and the challenges and opportunities with AI. But I'm curious, what do you think we should dig into a little deeper? What haven't we covered enough yet?
I think the cultural impact of all of this, like how is AI and data going to change the power dynamics within organizations, across industries? That's something we could really dig into.
Yeah. It's a really thought-provoking question. Technology doesn't exist in a vacuum. It shapes. That's shaped by the human world.
Exactly. People ultimately determine how these technologies are used, what kind of impact they have.
This deep dive has been packed with information. For our listener out there, what's the big takeaway? The one thing you want them to walk away with?
I want them to remember that data strategy in the age of AI. It's more than just the technology. It's about understanding data as this strategic asset, building the right capabilities, managing those risks, navigating the ethical parts. It's complex, but it's a really exciting field.
Yeah.
And it's changing all the time.
Yeah, it's a good point. We need to be holistic and responsible in our approach to data strategy, knowing that our choices have a big impact.
Absolutely. One thing we haven't even touched on is how data strategy and AI work in different industries. I think that's a really interesting area we could explore next.
I agree. So for our listener out there, stick with us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll be looking at specific applications of these ideas in different sectors. And we'll even dig into some case studies, real-world examples.
Yeah, the real-world impact, data strategy and AI.
Until then, stay curious.
You know, preparing for this, I was thinking about how visual the evolution of data strategy actually is.
Oh, I like visuals. Anything that helps me understand, complex topics.
Yeah. Imagine a timeline, right? At the beginning, you've got the mainframe era. Everything's centralized, like a big sun.
Okay, lots of lines going to one spot.
Yeah.
Kind of rigid, but stable, I guess.
Exactly. And then, boom, the client-server revolution happens. It's like the sun explodes. And now you've got these smaller stars, all connected, but more distributed.
More flexibility, but maybe a little more to manage, more complex.
That's the trade-off. And then the internet comes along. And those stars, they start multiplying like crazy. It's a whole galaxy of data, constantly expanding.
Wow, getting lost in space here.
The big data era. And now with AI, it's like all those stars are changing. They're becoming more intelligent, processing, acting on all that information.
So it's not just how much data there is, it's what it can do.
Right. So this visual helps us see the challenges and opportunities. It's like we're navigating this data universe, and AI is our spaceship.
Okay, I like that. But we still need a good pilot, right?
Of course. The human element, that's where the skills and capabilities come in. We need that to use AI well.
One of the sources, a book by Muar Lone, he talks about needing an AI-compatible governance model.
Yeah, Lone's book is interesting. He basically says, you can't just add AI on top of your old data strategy. You need to rethink governance completely. Think about the ethics, the bias, the regulations from the beginning.
So it's like being proactive instead of trying to fix things later.
Exactly. He also talks about the importance of culture. He says that resistance to this new culture is a big problem for AI adoption, and we got to address it head on.
Which takes us back to what we were talking about before. Overcoming that resistance to change.
Yeah, he suggests fostering that data-driven culture, training people, and managing the change well, give people the power. Don't just throw technology at them.
Yeah, people need to feel like they're part of the change, not that they're being replaced by the change.
Exactly. And Lowen also says that AI and data problems, they're different in different industries. He gives different roadmaps for like finance, healthcare, manufacturing, and retail. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
So no magic bullet. You got to understand each industry. What I'm finding interesting is this idea of balancing innovation with, all the governance and compliance stuff.
It's a tough balance, but it's important. He's not saying we should avoid AI, but we need to do it carefully.
Find that sweet spot, I guess, where we can use AI, but also protect data, privacy, those ethical values.
It's not either. You have to make both work.
The sources give some good practical advice, too. Like, there's this framework for understanding data value. It breaks it down into, like, direct value, indirect value, and strategic value.
That's a really helpful framework. I think a lot of times we focus on the revenue part of data, but there's so much more.
Like, you could use data to make your internal stuff more efficient, cut costs.
Yeah. Or use data to see what's coming in the market, find new opportunities, make those big decisions that change the business.
And then there's the data asset management side, like we talked about before, the whole life cycle of the data, creating it, using it, archiving it.
Crucial. It's about keeping the data good, consistent, secure. You need those standards, the processes, clear roles and responsibilities.
So we need the right tech setup to handle the AI stuff.
Yeah. Modernize that data infrastructure, use the cloud, make sure your storage can scale, use containerization, all that stuff.
A lot of tech terms there.
Yeah.
But I get the idea. Our systems have to be able to handle all this data. It's a lot of data, and it's coming in fast.
Right. You need a good way to connect all those data sources and systems.
Yeah, data silos. Those are bad.
Yeah.
We need that unified view of all our data.
Exactly. Security is also huge. Data is valuable, so you got to protect it.
Yeah.
Zero trust, encryption, access control.
Like a fortress around your data.
Good analogy. And then advanced analytics.
The AI part.
Yeah. Machine learning, NLP, all that good stuff. And those platforms that can give you insights in real time.
Turning data into knowledge and knowledge into action.
Exactly. But technology is only part of it. You need the organizational capabilities too.
Like the processes, the governance, developing skills, right?
Yeah. Make those processes smooth, set up clear data governance, and invest in training your people.
So the right tools and the right people and processes.
Yep. Create a culture where everyone gets it, everyone understands data, and how to use it.
One source really talked about how important change management is here.
Oh, it's critical. New tech and processes, they change things. People resist change. It's natural. You got to be proactive. Explain the benefits, train people, support them through it.
Bring people along on the journey.
Exactly. And then there's the strategic side, the strategic capabilities for success in this new AI world.
What's that about?
It's about making sure your data strategy matches your business goals. What's your vision for how data will create value? How are you managing risk? Are you always learning, always trying to be innovative?
So it's the big picture.
Yeah.
How can data be a strategic asset?
Yep. Think big. Embrace the potential of data and AI, not just the tech stuff.
One source talked about this bank. They went through this whole data transformation thing.
Yeah, that was a great case study. A big organization doing it right. They realized that their old data setup just wouldn't cut it in the AI age. They had to step up.
So they had to adapt, evolve.
Exactly. They did it in a really organized way. They looked at what they had, figured out where they needed to improve.
Data-driven transformation. They used data to improve their data.
I like that. They made a roadmap. Goals, timelines, resources.
A real plan, not just like a wish list.
Exactly. And they focused on all the capabilities. Technical, organizational, strategic, everything.
You didn't skip anything. What did they change?
They upgraded their whole infrastructure, improved their data governance, trained their employees, made sure everyone had the skills for this new world.
The tech, the processes, the people, they changed it all.
And it worked. Things got more efficient, risk management improved, better customer experience, even revenue went up.
The real success story.
It shows that it can be done. Transforming your data strategy for the AI age. It's a lot of work, but it pays off.
Having a vision, a plan, building the right capabilities, it all matters.
Absolutely. And remember, it doesn't stop there. You got to keep watching, keep learning, keep adapting. Things are always changing.
Always learning, always improving.
Yep. This world of data and AI, it doesn't stand still. You got to be flexible.
So it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. That's kind of deep.
It is. And there are a lot of exciting possibilities along the way.
The sources also talk about some of these trends that are coming up, things that are going to shape data strategy even more.
This is where it gets really interesting. Edge computing, quantum computing, even more advanced AI. They're all going to change how we use data.
Let's start with edge computing. What is that?
It's about processing the data closer to where it's being created. Instead of sending everything to the cloud or a data center, you process it right there, on the edge of the network, on the device, or a local server.
Like mini data centers everywhere.
Yeah. And that's good for a few reasons. First, it's faster, less latency. That's the time it takes for data to go back and forth.
So it's all about speed.
For some applications, that's really important, like self-driving cars, industrial automation, even milliseconds matter.
Yeah, if things are too slow, there could be big problems.
Exactly. And it uses less bandwidth. You don't have to send as much data through the network. Saves money, it's more efficient.
Like taking a shortcut.
Good analogy. And it can be more secure, too. You keep that sensitive data closer, so it's harder to steal.
So edge computing is a bodyguard for your data.
It adds a layer of protection. It seems like edge computing is especially important for industries that have a lot of real-time data, lots of it, coming in fast.
Okay.
You're right. It's already being used in manufacturing, healthcare, transportation, energy.
What are some examples? How are they actually using it?
In manufacturing, they use it to watch the production lines real time. That way they can do predictive maintenance and be more efficient.
Smart factories.
Exactly. In healthcare, they can use it to process patient data right there, so they can make decisions faster.
Bringing data analysis to the patient.
Yeah, it's a key benefit. And for self-driving cars, it's crucial. They need to make decisions super fast, based on the data from all the sensors and cameras.
The brain of the self-driving car.
You got it. And those are just a few. It's changing fast. We're going to see a lot more cool applications of this.
So telling you something to watch.
It is. It's changing the game for data strategy.
All right, now. Quantum computing. That sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does, but it's becoming real. It uses quantum mechanics to solve problems that are just too hard for regular computers.
Quantum mechanics. That's like subatomic particles, weird stuff.
It is complex, but basically, quantum computers use these things called qubits. They can do calculations in ways that normal computers can't.
So way more powerful.
Yeah, they can solve problems that we can't even touch right now, like simulating complex molecules or optimizing huge logistics networks.
Change the world kind of stuff.
It really could. It's still early days, but we're seeing some interesting applications in finance, materials, science, cryptography.
Like what? Specific examples?
In finance, they're looking at it for, like, portfolio stuff, managing risk, detecting fraud. It can analyze huge amounts of data and run really complex simulations.
A crystal ball for finance. A scientific one.
Nice. In materials science, they're using it to design new materials, stronger, better conductivity, that kind of thing.
Molecular architects.
Exactly. And in cryptography, they're using it to make new codes, new ways to keep things secret, codes that even quantum computers can't crack.
So we're in an arms race with the machines.
Yeah, using quantum to fight quantum. It's still a new field, but it's moving fast. Lots of breakthroughs coming.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
It is. It could change everything.
Okay, last but not least, advanced AI. AI is already a big deal, but where is it going?
Advanced AI is about pushing the limits. What can we do with artificial intelligence? Can we make AI that can do things that only humans can do now, like make complex decisions, solve problems creatively, even understand emotions?
So AI that's not just smart, but actually, understands things.
That's the goal. And we're seeing some really cool stuff in natural language processing, computer vision, robotics.
How? What are they doing with it?
In natural language processing, they're building chatbots that can talk just like a human.
Passing the Turing test.
Exactly. In computer vision, they're making systems that can see and understand things better than we can.
Superhuman vision.
Yep. And in robotics, they're building robots that can do really complex things, like surgery or advanced manufacturing, things that need really fine movements.
Robots working with us.
Yeah.
Helping us do more.
That's the key with advanced AI collaboration. Not replacing humans, but working with them.
So AI working with us, not taking over the world.
Exactly. And as AI keeps getting better, we're going to see some incredible stuff.
It's both exciting and a little scary to think about.
It is. But if we do it right, if we think about the ethical side, we can use AI to make the world better.
That's a good point. We have to use these powerful tools for good.
Couldn't agree more. The future of AI is in our hands.
All right, let's get specific. We've talked about data strategy and AI in general, but how does this all work in different industries?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. The same ideas can play out in very different ways, depending on the industry.
Like healthcare. AI seems like it could really change healthcare. Diagnosis, treatment, drug development, all of it.
It really could. The sources we've got actually talk a lot about healthcare and life sciences. The potential is huge, but it's also complicated.
What makes healthcare so different when we're talking about data strategy?
Well, the data itself is very sensitive. Patient records, genetics, treatments, privacy and security are super important.
Makes sense. People's health. You can't mess around with that. A data breach in healthcare could be a disaster.
Exactly. And it's not just the data. Healthcare is just a really complicated system. Lots of different people involved. Providers, payers, drug companies, researchers. They all need to be able to share data securely and efficiently.
That sounds like a big challenge.
It is. And then you've got all the regulations, IPS, GDPR, all that. They're important, but they make things more complex.
So you've got the technical side, the ethical side, the legal side. It's a lot to handle.
It is. But there's also a lot of opportunity. AI could really make healthcare better.
Yeah, the sources talk about AI helping with diagnosis, personalized medicine, drug discovery, even surgery.
Imagine AI looking at medical images. Maybe it can see things that humans miss, detect diseases earlier.
Like cancer. Finding it early is so important.
Yeah. And personalized medicine, AI can look at your genes, your lifestyle, your medical history, and help figure out the best treatment just for you.
Custom healthcare.
Exactly. No more one-size-fits-all. More targeted, more effective treatments.
And drug discovery. That takes a long time and costs a lot of money. Can AI really help with that?
I think so. It can analyze tons of data, molecular structures, biological pathways, find new drug candidates faster.
Like having a super researcher, sifting through all that data.
Right. And it can make clinical trials better, too. More efficient, more effective. So we get new treatments faster.
What about robot surgery? Is that going to be a normal thing soon?
It's already happening. Robots, guided by AI, can do really delicate surgeries, really precise, less invasive.
A super steady hand.
Exactly. And AI can even help with the care after surgery, monitoring patients remotely, alerting doctors if there's a problem.
Like a virtual nurse?
Yeah. And that's just the beginning. There's so much potential for AI in healthcare.
But we have to be careful, right? Think about the ethics.
Absolutely. When it's about life and death, we have to make sure AI is doing the right thing. No bias, transparency, accountability, it's all important.
AI should be a tool to help doctors, not to replace doctors.
Exactly. It's about working together, not replacing humans.
And, of course, protecting patient data.
Super important. That data is very sensitive. We have to keep it safe.
So lots of challenges, but also lots of potential.
Yeah. If we do it right, AI can make healthcare so much better, help a lot of people.
Okay, let's talk about manufacturing. Another area where AI is making a big impact.
Yeah, manufacturing is going through a big change. Industry 4.0, they call it.
The fourth industrial revolution. And data and AI are a big part of that.
They are. Smart factories, connected supply chains, robots, predictive maintenance, everything is changing.
Like taking the old factory and making it digital.
Exactly. But it's not just about robots and automation. It's about using data to make everything better, more efficient, better quality, more flexible.
One of the sources had this interesting way of looking at data in manufacturing.
Yeah, they talked about different layers of data. You've got the shop floor layer. That's where you collect data from the machines, the sensors, all the stuff that's actually making things.
Where the work happens.
Right. Then there's the operations layer. That's where you get a real-time view of everything that's going on.
Like the control center.
Yeah. And then the enterprise layer. That connects the factory data to the rest of the business. The ERP, the CRM, all that.
So it's not just about the factory. It's about the whole company.
Exactly. And on top of all that, you've got the intelligence layer. That's where the AI comes in, analyzing the data, finding insights, helping people make decisions.
The brain of the factory.
Good analogy. So you need a really good data system, one that can handle all this. Manufacturing is complex.
The sources also talk about how important it is to connect all the data.
Integration is key. You got to bring data together from all over the place. Machines, sensors, quality control, everything.
Like a translator for data.
Yeah.
So they can all talk to each other.
I like that. And AI can help with that. Cleaning the data, transforming it, making it useful.
It's not just about collecting data. It's about making it good. Making it something you can actually use.
That's where the value is.
The sources talk about some cool things AI can do in manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Predictive maintenance, quality control, supply chain stuff.
Yeah. Predictive maintenance is about knowing when a machine is going to break down before it happens.
A crystal ball for machines.
Right. AI can look the data from the sensors, find patterns that mean trouble.
That could save a lot of time and money.
It really could. Instead of waiting for things to break, you can fix them before they cause problems. Less downtime, less disruption.
Be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. AI is also great for quality control. You can have AI systems that inspect the products.
Hmm.
They can see tiny defects that humans might miss.
Like having robot inspectors. Perfect vision.
Right. That means better quality, less waste. It's good for business.
What about the supply chain? How is AI changing that?
It's making the supply chain smarter,
Hmm.
more efficient, more responsive.
So it can handle problems like the pandemic or, global stuff happening.
Exactly. AI can predict demand, manage inventory, optimize shipping routes. It's about being flexible and adaptable.
Like having a really good planner, keeping everything running smoothly.
Exactly. That's really important these days. Things are changing so fast, you got to be able to adjust.
One source talked about digital twins. That sounds pretty wild.
It does, but it's becoming real. A digital twin is like a virtual copy of a real thing, a machine, a product, even a whole factory.
A virtual clone.
Yeah. And it's connected to the real thing, so it gets all the data,
Mhm.
real time.
You can see what's happening right now.
Right. But you can also do more than just see. You can run simulations, test different things, see how the real thing might behave in the future.
A virtual lab.
Yeah,
Try things out without any risk.
exactly. And digital twins are getting more and more sophisticated. They're using AI to get even better insights.
So it's not just a picture, it's a tool for learning and making decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Digital twins are changing how things are made, how they're designed, how they work. It's pretty amazing.
This has been a lot to take in. So much information about data and AI.
It is a lot. But I think the main takeaway is this. Data is important. It's not just a side effect of what we do. It's what drives innovation. In the age of AI, you need a good data strategy. It's not optional anymore. And it's not just about the tech. It's about the people, the processes, the ethics. It's about being ready to change.
That's a great way to put it. Data is valuable, and AI is the key to unlocking that value. But we have to use it the right way, responsibly, ethically, and always remember the human side of it.
Absolutely. The world of data and AI is constantly changing, so we have to keep learning, keep adapting, stay curious.
That's a great message for our listeners. Stay curious, stay informed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.